So you ready? Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it in general, but yeah, just be diligent, I guess. Alright, so 3, 2, 1,
and we're live. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Solo Dev Roundtable on the Polygon Forest. It's been a hot minute, it's been a couple of months, purely because we've had just a couple of busy bits that we needed to get through, mostly on mine and Chris's side, to be honest. Like, Sam was ready to go last month, it was just stuff's been happening in the background. Hopefully that'll be a great story one day, but we'll definitely get to it. But yeah, joining us as always is Christopher Jarvis. How you going, sir?
Hello, I'm very good. Yes, I'm very good. That's probably the easiest and quickest way to explain my mental state, but the fact that I had to think about it and figure out what I wanted to say probably is telling you just the right amount of information. I'm fine. How are you?
You said I'm fine way too much then, so I'm gonna go. All right, let's just like plow straight on and just
move on, Finn. Just
plan an intervention.
Right. It's like, should I be concerned? I'm not sure yet. Like, we'll carry on. We're joined as always as well by Sam Webster. How you doing, sir?
Hello. Yeah, I suppose similar to Chris, in the last 2 months, a lot has happened on that front. I'm fine. My medication has kicked in. Well, hey. And I have therapy and counselling from our local autism hub, so double hey. And in good contact with my GP. So genuinely doing better than the last time we spoke by a good measure.
That's good. I like to hear that. Thank you. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean,
that makes me feel better.
Important,
that does make me feel better. It's always nice to hear when people are doing better.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm Vin Hill. Again, like, I'm not going to say how I'm doing. I'm doing fine. The Queen died today, so there's that, I guess. That's a sad occasion. But
yeah,
the world goes on. Like,
I'm glad you clarified it's a sad occasion, because you said, I'm fine, the Queen died today. It almost sounded like you were like, wait, that's fun.
I'm not celebrating at all. It's a very somber day, very weird day. Just purely like the idea of hearing stuff like, long live the king and stuff like that. It's kind of...
It's very strange.
Feels weird. It feels very weird. But all good things come to an end, unfortunately. That includes Queen Elizabeth II, so rest in peace and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But on the back of that, we should talk about some video game stuff, I guess. I apologize.
It's really moving.
Right, I'm terrible at like this sort of stuff, but yeah, it needed to be mentioned, I guess. But if you're new to the podcast, then basically what we do is we go through 20 minutes each. Not always 20 minutes. Let's be honest, like we normally go over, but like we try to stick to 20 minutes each and try and go through what we've been working on over the past month as solo indie devs, just to sort of keep ourselves accountable, give each other feedback, and sort of see what's up. Some months we have absolutely nothing to show, months we have a bunch to show. I think it's definitely going to be a mixed bag today, but that's okay, that's absolutely fine. It's just, that's the reality of the games development side. It's just about having a conversation about how we create games as solo developers, because it's not an easy task, and just sort of shining some light on it for people that are out there, but also, like I said before, like to keep ourselves accountable. So, who's drawing the lucky straw this week? I think it was Sam, wasn't it? Yeah, Sam is the one that's drawing the straw. Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you like what you hear, then please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It will help us out. Just keep that in mind when you're listening to what Sam has to say.
Yeah. Chilling aside,
listening.
Chilling aside and not listening, but listening. Sam, what have you been up to, Sam?
Okay, so
let me know what you want to share. Let me know what you want to share.
No, go ahead with the share, man.
Okay.
Yeah. So last time we spoke, I said that the IGMC Rebirth, which is a game jam, had just been announced, and that participants had 4 weeks, well 5, but I got to the jam a week late, so at that time I had 4 weeks to make a game in the RPG Maker series of engines, including its spin-offs like Pixel Game Maker and stuff. But let's be honest, everyone just used RPG Maker. And there were cash prizes on the line. The top prize was at least $4,000 US. And actually, there was the potential for someone to sweep 3 different categories and take away at least $7,000, which would have been in a nice pay packet, right? Spoiler alert, I did not get any money. I can tell you that now. But this is the page for the Rebirth. Since we last spoke, not only has the jam ended, but the month-long public voting has also been and gone. So I know where I placed in the public vote. The private judging has not been announced yet, so I don't know where I placed there, but I do know that they've shortlisted the 18 finalists, and I am not one of the 18 finalists. So I know that I have won nothing in any category. I can tell you that now. So that's the bad news. The good news is that I did make something. I did manage to make a game that was at least 10 minutes long and under an hour in those 4 weeks in RPG Maker. Not something I thought I would be able to do, but here we are. The theme was announced as Rebirth, Rejuvenation, or Resurrection. So your game had to tie to that theme. And if we go to the results here for the community stuff, congratulations to Ouroboros, a dungeon crawling adventure. I am on page 4 of 8. I am number. I believe I came 64.
Halfway is not a bad thing, man. Like that's pretty good.
Tell my wife that halfway isn't a bad thing. There we are, 64th, with an average review score of 3.2 out of 5.
Are you showing your screen? Because I can't see. Or is that known?
Yes. So for YouTube viewers, you will just be seeing my screen right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can't see it. Okay.
For Discord, what we're using, look at Discord, not Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Discord.
Yeah, you need to click on the watch stream.
You should see watch stream on my name.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay, carry on.
The website and how the jam runs. Spoiler alert, didn't win. Let's have a look at the game itself. I love RPG Maker because I've been using it since I was a teenager in high school, right away from the days of illegal translations of RPG Maker 2003.
Good times.
I gave myself a bonus challenge, completely custom-made graphics, so I made all the graphics from scratch, and I stuck to the Mega Drive color palette. So I did not stick to the Mega Drive's limit of only having 64 total colors on screen at any one time, but I did stick to the Mega Drive's very limited color palette. And I'm pretty pleased with the results visually. For those who don't know RPG Maker, this is what it is. It's very much a what you see is what you get editor. You do not have to do any coding. If I open up this event here, it's going to open on a different screen or in a different window, isn't it? Oh, crap, and now I'm locked into there. Hang on a moment. Technical difficulties.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, it's because I don't have it on my main monitor. I've got you guys on my main monitor. So it's most likely opened... No, I don't. That's the last thing I need to see, really, for my health.
That's fair.
Okay, so I'm going to have to try something here, which is going to involve force quitting RPG Maker, putting it back on my main monitor, and then moving the event window over. Please give me a moment.
No worries.
But it is a what you see is what you get editor. You have to do absolutely no programming. It is very intuitive.
So how many hours do you think you got to spend making on it? Because I know it was 4 weeks that you did, but obviously you got a full-time job as well. So was it like a couple of hours in the evening, or?
The problem is I did this through Steam, and that has my time played for both RPG Maker MZ and also Ace Sprite, which I did all the pixel art in. And RPG Maker use time went up by about 60 hours, and Ace Sprite went up by 30-some hours.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're probably talking about 90 hours.
Wow.
And now RPG Maker is very angry about having been force quit out of last time, and is not launching. So what I might do is, rather than continuing to show you it in editor, is actually just go into the game itself.
Yeah, we'll play the game.
I'll
Staff
play
of
the game.
Supe. So the Staff of Supe, what was you said about the backstory last time? I remember. Can you recap that? It's what country of origin is it from?
So it's based on Peruvian mythology.
Got it.
Partly because I just finished replaying Tomb Raider again at the time, which is
Good,
you know, why
good
not?
influence.
Yeah, great influence.
And just this theme of resurrection, I thought, okay, well, we can go into mystical artifacts, we can have trying to revive someone, we can do all of that. Right, now, is RPG Maker actually going to boot this time, or is it... No, it's completely screwed. Okay, that's fine.
It's fine. I'm not sharing screen at the moment, so just let me know when you're ready to go again.
Okay.
And the narrative as well was quite entertaining. How did that take? Was that a short amount of time because you've got the history and comic books?
The narrative I just had to. Yeah, there was a short research phase. But Vinny, if you want to share my screen again.
Yep. Share it now.
So, what I do like about RPG Maker is I've used it long enough to be able to customize it, and there are a lot of plugins for MZ specifically that let you do things like animated title screens and such.
Yep.
So this is an entirely custom title screen. And I guess I'll play the game in the background while talking about it. What is annoying, the font is the custom font that I made for my main project you'll have seen on previous episodes of this show, called Crisis Island. Annoyingly, RPG Maker MZ does blur the font, which is a bit annoying. I'd have liked that to have been as pixel perfect as everything else.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing here is an opening cutscene where we've hired a local guide. She's brought us to the temple. She's like, "What are you doing here anyway?" And it's like, "Well, we're chasing a friend of ours. They're in a bad place. Oh, well, I can't let them desecrate the temple, so guess what? I'm coming with you."
That's exactly how I read it in your voice when I was reading it, which is great.
I forget you've played it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, there's an item there. You need to go and get that item. You can't
get the shiny item.
Yeah, and then
can't just leave
the
an item.
wall. I mean, come on. It's basics, right?
Some bonus items up here as well. So some
I missed that. Oh, I missed that.
You're going to be cooking yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I knew I didn't have a lot of time. I knew I wanted to mainly focus on puzzles, and I knew I wanted to have the custom graphics to try and do something different, because a lot of RPG Maker games just use the graphics that come built in with the engine.
Yeah.
And like, no shade, I've just never been a fan of that. If I see especially a commercial game on Steam from RPG Maker and it's using the default assets, it is the biggest turnoff ever. The hardest in terms of the battle system here, two things I tried to do differently. One was study, which is like scan from Final Fantasy, or I believe it's called Libra in Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
And shotgun blast, which instead of being tied to MP is tied to your items. So you can see here I've got 6 shotgun shells. This scan was probably the most annoying one to set up, in all honesty.
I missed that.
Oh, I just doubled up somewhere.
That's Chris checking the stream, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
And yeah, so the battle system was the last thing I did, and probably the thing that got the least amount of time. So I've just seen his weakness as a spear. So now we're just gonna go for it and kill him.
It's very Tomb Raider inspired, absolutely. Like it reminds me of like the opening of like the original Tomb Raider, you know, with the guy that gets like basically mauled by wolves and stuff. Is something going to happen in a minute?
All right, Vinny. Jesus. Yeah, lovely game, Sam. When does it start?
When's something going to happen?
I mean, like I was saying, I couldn't do this in how little time that you did it in?
90 hours over 4 weeks, alongside a full-time job, alongside being a dad, alongside... I was fucking wiped by the time I submitted.
I bet.
Though what was really annoying was getting the wife and kids to test it, as well as my friends Richie and Terry.
Right.
And then seeing like them getting out of bounds and shit. I'm just like, how? How have you just done that?
Yeah.
There's a great video. I don't know if you guys have seen it of like a guy that's like playing one of those shape things that kids have got.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, where does the circle go? And he puts it into the square. And it's like, where's the triangle go? And it fits into the square as well. And every single shape that can fit into each one of the holes like goes into the square.
Goes into the square.
And there's like this reaction video from this girl who's doing it, and someone's put over the top of it like, oh, games developers when people test games.
She's crying.
And it's just like, she's just crying by the end. She's like, yes, that's so true. That's exactly what it's like when people test a game. Like, you have no...
Everything fits in the square.
Right, it's just like, they'll just do wild things that you wouldn't even like dream of them doing, but there they go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Two things that I was just going to quickly mention. So obviously we fought a puma there, and we've got puma heads above some of the doors.
Right.
So in Peruvian mythology, the earth is the puma,
Right.
the heavens is the condor, and the underworld, so to speak, is the serpent.
Right.
And you can probably see I spent far too much time on a water mechanic and water effects. I also spent too much time creating and adding little skeletons of like explorers who came before you, and
I love those touches.
That stuff matters, man. I think
That's
like,
really, yeah.
Like the skeletons, especially because like, I always take away the story of like the first time I played Fallout 3, right? Like the best thing about Bethesda games is when you walk into like a bathroom or something in like Fallout 3. And there's a skeleton there. The skeleton's never like alone sort of thing. Like it's always got a note or something with it. It's like, okay, my name is Bob, and I died in the toilet when a nuclear explosion went off. It's like, oh, pop Bob. It just adds so much to it. But even like visually, when you leave a skeleton somewhere, it's like, okay, this dude couldn't get out or couldn't get through this, so like it's going to be a challenge for me. It's that subconscious thing, right?
it was partly mechanical as well, because like there I picked up a large medipack, and it always bugs me, like when I am playing Tomb Raider Uncharted, when I'm in a tomb, first person in 1,000 years, and there are fucking shotgun shells.
Yeah. Who's got
handles, right?
Yeah. Those
So
can-
this is
someone
a guy-
replaces the candles, yeah.
It's just some guy like lighting candles every morning. Someone will visit one day.
Someone will use it.
Yeah.
So this is a guy we had concerns about, Dr. Brenner. So I'm going to skip through a lot of this dialogue, but long story short, his wife died unexpectedly. He's aware of the staff of Supe, which is supposed to be able to resurrect people, and he's come to do it. We are his ex-student, we're a friend, we're worried about him, we're like, come home, come on. So we followed him to Peru. So they're having a little bit of a philosophical debate, you know, this isn't going to bring her back, you don't know that, we're scientists, we have to explore possibilities, this isn't science, this is supernatural, is magic a science we don't understand yet? Very pretentious.
Right.
I enjoyed that.
It's cool. That's great. Like that's the sort of stuff that you want in this style of game more than anything, I think.
Like this seems to rile him up. If you can believe in the power of the staff, then you can believe in the possibility of an afterlife. I was like, no, I believe this is a waste of time. So I was a little too proud of that line. So after not a lot of effort, we decided that this door he's just gone through won't open. And one of the reasons I did that is very simply, I hate when you're in a game and you're chasing someone, and
they just
all
disappear.
of the puzzles are reset, and you're like, well, how the hell did they get through?
Yeah. Or you open the door like 2 seconds after they did and they're disappeared, but you're in a massive hall, and it's like, did they just sprint down the other end of the hall? And yeah.
It's like hobbling grandma who you're chasing, like the door closes, you get in there, and there's like this maze of stuff that she had to climb to get out. It's like, how?
Yeah. But I loved your use of water in this, and it's like, I just thought it was decorative when I was first playing it, and then, spoiler
You're going
alert.
to spoil it.
No. I don't know how much you're going to play. How much you're going to play? I won't spoil it. I like your use of water.
I can speedrun this in about 10 minutes if I actually stop explaining every tiny thing. But yeah, very basic puzzle. Like torches. Which then I wanted to sort of do a basic puzzle and then expand upon it. So switch doesn't work. Okay, we light a torch. What can we do with that?
Yeah, the ramping up is good.
We burn the vines that are
very cool.
blocking the door.
It took me far too long to figure that out.
I've enjoyed watching people do that one.
And how did you do that quickly?
Well, he's played the game like a million times.
Oh, I feel silly
true.
now.
Testing, you play it too often. So here, obviously, we need to light the torch, but we can't reach the torch. So we fire an arrow through, and that gets it.
Very cool.
Like here, okay, there's a pressure plate, but the second we step off, so we have a problem. And this one.
An energy drink. There's someone left an energy drink in the cave.
Well, you know, everybody needs a monster in Tombs.
Well, hey, we've played the game.
This
Vin.
one.
Sorry, that was worth it. Always monsters in Tombs. Come on, that was a great joke, guys. Monster energy drink. No.
So let's light this. That's now lit.
I feel sad.
And now we can turn this one.
Nice.
So from a distance, we can burn the leaves. And this was the thing, I wanted to establish a mechanic and then build, and then just increase the complexity. But I also had to think a lot about bugs. So I was like, this boulder I can push around, right?
Can you get it
What
to
if
a
I push
place
it somewhere that...
into a corner? Yeah.
Clever. Just bounces back.
Yeah, it just nopes out. And I had to set that up for every single border tile it could possibly get stuck on. And then once we've finally done the boulder, we have a door. A save point. That can't be good.
That's exactly what I thought.
So this room I was quite proud of in terms of the visual design of it and like the moss growing under the water and stuff.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So I really wanted this to look decrepit. What do you think will happen if you do this? Well, the water will drain and I'll be able to get downstairs. This isn't what you think of it is. We kind of flooded it for a reason. Please don't. And then we've got the second guardian, which is the condor. And we can study the condor. Called Kunta.
Bit on the nose.
To protect as well. Just hey, that's the Peruvian name. That's
I know. It's just like in English. Obviously, we're English people, so we're going to hear it a certain way. Like, no offense to our Peruvian of course,
viewers.
That's not.
Leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
So this one we know is weak to gunpowder, and I have a special called Shotgun Blast. Let's see how that goes for him.
It was effective.
Yeah, I will admit, the battle system is the most undercooked thing in this game. Absolutely. If I had more time, I would have spent a lot more.
Yeah. You got the nuts and bolts there, and what you're trying to do is quite, well communicated, I think.
Yeah, honestly,
balancing,
I think
you can't balance in 4 weeks.
Yeah, like for what you focused on, you definitely focused on the right things, which was like the puzzle mechanics. I think like those, like getting the vines to set on fire and stuff like that, and getting the arrows to go through fire to hit vines, like just that sequence of stuff is that's way more important.
Yeah, that's what pays the bills, right?
Yeah, it's super successful as well.
Didn't win me the thing though.
Better than most. Better than most.
So now that the water's drained, I can get down these little bits, down these staircases, and collect like those shotgun shells.
Yeah.
And this was the hard part, getting the water to actually behave like this. Like this guy has a medipack for me. Obviously, all the arrows are turned off now, which is nice. I can just walk back instead of having to be attacked every 5 seconds.
And it's a bit of a subconscious thing, but it does actually add gravity to that fact that when you made that narrative beat, the world has changed, and it actually all brings that back, and it makes it feel like you're actually playing a game more, like you're having cause and effect.
Yeah. And like this guy who was under the water laying down before is now upright. It's like a tiny little thing, but hopefully it just does that little bit to lift it. I don't know. You be the judge.
No, it works because you actually foreshadowed that as well. So, like, the fact that you could see that shadow in the water earlier, and then you come back and like, oh, okay. Like, I remember this thing now. It's not just like a new thing that's appeared.
It's not just a shadow in the water. It is a thing.
Right.
Yeah, you sort of get the idea that, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to fight that, aren't I?
Yeah. That is another theme, actually. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to fight that thing, aren't I? Yeah.
And doing the battle animations actually took me longer than I thought as well, so they came out a little more basic than I would have liked.
Right.
I would have liked to have put a little bit of animation on the enemies, but again, this is just time, which is not... I mean, I'll show you a little bit more, but there's really not much of the game left now because I was just... I had to reach a point in the jam. I think 3 out of 4 weeks in. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put the final room, the final boss, and the ending in now. So this is downstairs, which is a lot more sort of alien and technological looking. And there's little puddles still where the water's only freshly drained. How did you catch up to me? How do you keep getting past all of the traps and giant snakes?
I don't have time for this. Love it.
Everyone I've watched play this does the exact same thing. Instead of chasing him immediately, they go, fuck that, there was an item during that cutscene.
Same.
Yeah.
We've been trained, man. That's like 25 years of playing RPGs. That's what you do.
This is where my wife managed to get out of bounds, and it was tied to how they fall and actually coming back with a split second of
outside of
being able to pass through things. Yeah. So that's the correct path through that, but it's just looking at the tiles, not too complicated.
Following the snakes.
Yeah. The snakes, right.
Yeah. And then you've got the spikes which work properly. Hooray. They were a pain in the arse, actually, the spikes. They were one of the harder things to do, weirdly enough. And then this is cool. So we've got the arrows.
I found this so difficult because of when you get because of the knockback of the arrows, and then you lose who your main character is because they swap places, and then you're like, am I leading by that person? And then
people hated this. Yeah. And I'm not sure if this is a good kind of hate.
Yeah, I think so. It ramped up quickly, but enough to know that I knew that I had to have skill to get through.
Right.
And I didn't die too much that it was like game over on all that sort of stuff. So it was frustrating, but in the right kind of way. Yeah.
This took a dog's age as well, getting the temple to glow once you reached a certain point. That was not easy. There's a lot of things RPG Maker isn't designed to do.
See, that where your colleague is standing on the spikes, that kept throwing me off.
Okay, so actually having them follow you might not have been a great idea for some of those.
I don't know. Or maybe because then if you space out the spikes, then it's not as difficult, right? So how do you ramp that up? I don't know if there's I don't know. I don't have the answer right now.
Finally, here we've got the correct path, plus the arrows, plus the spikes. It's just like this.
No, it's a good way of doing it because you've introduced each one of these mechanics like
separately and then
separate, and then you combine them. You haven't done it backwards or anything, so it's actually smart, like game design in that respect.
I'm glad you did this. I'm glad you did the same as me on that last bit. Like, just keep pressing forwards. Just keep pressing forwards.
Just like completely fucked it. It's fine. Let's get the items.
But again, it could be solved with just balance and polish. That's fine.
This made me think a lot about as well what I'm doing because I've been. How long have I been at Crisis Island now, guys?
About 6 months, 7 months.
And how much?
Crisis Island like the whole time. So it's been.
This is episode. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Episode 9, but it's 10 months in.
But it's been right.
I'd say Serious Dev probably only started with the podcast, to be fair.
Right.
So, how much have I got done in that time? Because I'm also learning Unity and everything.
Yeah.
And then this is 4 weeks, and it's just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, that's the thing. Like, you'll get to this point with Unity, but you'll be able to do so much more with Unity once you do get to this point. That's the difference, right?
Well, I did think about what you were saying about, because you said if you want to do pixel games specifically, Game Maker might be an idea. Yeah. And I do have Game Maker. So I have, this past week, re-downloaded Game Maker onto my Steam, and I have done started going through a couple of tutorials on that.
Yeah.
That uses another programming language called GML.
It's very similar to C# though, from what I've seen, and it's a lot more user friendly, I would say, to C#. But it's one of those, like the whole Game Maker language is an interesting conversation to have in general, just purely because it's like a halfway point between C# and like not knowing any code. So it's like, should you just go all the way at that point? Like that is a good debate and a good question to ask. But it really depends what you want to do with it. Like I think you get really comfortable with GameMaker, though it seems to fit your sort of style.
I think what it comes down to is what do you want the end result to be? Like, do you want to make games where you have more control? Are you fine with the limitations of, program A, B, or C, and then just do that? Do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's raised some questions for sure, especially around productivity and speed. As a spoiler alert, this resurrection is not going to go well for him.
Right. Please be a zombie.
Oh, she's already gone blue.
We okay for time? I think we're okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, and this is the final boss now, anyway. So it's been a while since someone brought me a sacrifice. What?
That'll take it.
Bit older than usual.
Thankfully, I did not get flagged for 18 plus content by the contest runners.
Because of the boobies.
Well, there's no nipples, right? Like that's the thing.
And is the husband panting on the floor? Was he praying?
Panting on the floor was the intent. Yeah.
Okay.
So those orbs, if I do not take care of them immediately, are a big problem. I may not have balanced those very well, so here's a shotgun blast and the orbs are gone. That is my tip to anyone who struggles with this final boss. Basically use Inti's Blessing for the massive buffs, and then just pelt a god with shotgun blasts. That is how deep this combat system gets. But even like these little pixel art portraits and everything, I spent so much time on custom pixel art when I should have probably spent it on polish.
Debatable for the time.
Isn't that polished up to an extent?
Well, yeah, but look, that's the final boss. I've just killed a god in 4 turns.
Yeah, it's a 10-minute, 4-week game. If you got to think about the judges, they're going to want to be able to complete a game quickly, right?
Yeah. To me, the puzzles were the most sort of impressive thing. Knowing like what RPG Maker is sort of built for, and the fact that you're able to do that is like pretty cool. So like the combat system in RPG Maker is probably the last thing you should really worry about if you think about it.
How many are going to be as balanced in the competition?
I like your credits, by the way.
Most of them.
Thank you.
Nice.
But yeah,
that's
impressive. And then there's just some credits to the music packs that I use.
It is impressive. Well done. That's a good achievement. You've got a game published. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's it feel?
I don't know. I was excited when I hit submit and publish. To date, I think I've had about 23 downloads, which not ideal. But it's 23 more downloads than I would have had, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you've got to it's small steps, man. You can't expect like success like straight off the bat. It's one of those things. Like because your next game is going to get triple that, and then the game after that is going to get quadruple that, and it's just and it's a snowball as well. So it's only going to like ramp up as well. Like that's the thing. And this was only a 4-week project. Imagine if you put a year into it, right? Like, can you imagine like how many more like things you're gonna get? Like, it keeps going up and up.
And as much as you have an opinion of RPG Maker, it does make me look at it in terms of if I wanted to do a shorter project for Steam to get my feet wet and especially learn about the developer process and signing up and doing all of that, then maybe a shorter RPG Maker game would be good for that, so that when I come around to Crisis Island releasing on Steam and then potentially other platforms, I have a better idea of what I'm doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure what my next steps are gonna be. As I say, I've spent most of the month since finishing that project fiddling around with Game Maker, dipping in and out of more Unity tutorials, but largely sort of meandering, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I can understand that, especially like after having like all this sort of time and effort and motivation sort of going towards one thing, right? Like you're in that rhythm of wanting to make games at that pace now, which is I totally get that.
Yeah, and I believe I will get that pace eventually with Unity. It's just whether I want to, whether my first release should be with something I'm more comfortable with, I guess.
Sure, that's a valid concern. I think like the main thing is like Chris was mentioned before, is like what is your goal, right? What's the intent? Like what sort of game do you want to make? Do you want to, because if you're just trying to make like an RPG Maker game in Unity to just try and get rid of the RPG Maker stigma from the wider community, I'm not saying like any of those.
So I firmly believe what I've done with Crisis Island in Unity I could not replicate in RPG Maker.
Right.
Cool.
Or at least it would be an inferior version by a good margin if I were to try. So I think for that game, yes, Unity. I just don't know with how long a road I still have ahead of me, especially this enemy AI. That's kicking my ass at the minute.
Right.
Whether that's going to see the light of day anytime soon, and whether I need to get the first game out first, so, like finish a project.
You have. Congratulations.
You've already ticked that box. Next.
Right. Yeah, and I'm still in this weird place of like ultimately I'm doing this because I get bored far too easily. Like we discussed before coming on the show, like my day job is doing fine. Yeah. And I see myself, I'm making longer term plans about my career path and my progression at my day job. I'm not planning on going anywhere anytime soon. I'm not planning on having this take over from or become my income or anything like that. So I'm not sure where the sense of urgency is coming from, but I do feel like I've not gotten anywhere near as far with Crisis Island as I would like to. And then being able to do that in 4 weeks compared with the 6 months plus on Crisis is like, fucking come on, there's a big difference in confidence there. Something's going on,
Yeah, but at the same time, like while I get that, like you're sort of still setting up the systems for Crisis Island, so like because the thing is with the RPG Maker stuff, like the project that you just shown us, which looks awesome, like you don't have to set up a lot of your systems, like the character controller, you don't have to set up. I mean, you do to a little bit, but not nearly as much as you do, like having barrels react to like getting shot and stuff, and like all them sort of things, like they're already sort of pre-set up, so you're able to skip all of that, and then what you did in 4 weeks is based on stuff that is already set up. So you can imagine you'll get to a point with Crisis Island where once all your systems are set up, you've got a couple of enemies in the game, you've got collision set up for like walls and stuff, then you'll just start doing all the other stuff which you were able to do in 4 weeks in RPG Maker. You'll be able to do that in 4 weeks in Unity as well, because all the systems would have been set up. You'll just still get to that point where the basics are set up, so you can actually get to that point where you're knocking stuff out in 4 weeks. See what I'm saying? So it's not always.
Sounds like your advice would be stick with it.
I mean, it's really up to you, man. I'm not going to push you to do anything. Like you should absolutely explore other options as well, like Game Maker Studio, or like if you are like sort of set on the idea of like finishing a smaller sort of RPG Maker game, putting that on Steam, seeing how it does, like going through all that process, makes sense to me. Like it's not a bad thing. It's like you were saying before, man. Like this isn't your main goal to get to this, doing this full time, right? So if it's a hobby, then use it as a hobby and sort of treat it as such, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, if you're having fun, like have fun making the game. Like you really shouldn't be like pulling your hair out, like trying to get to anything like too fast or too efficiently or anything. Like just have fun with it, explore, like see what you want to do, and get where you need to go. Like there's no real sort of rush to get there, you know what I mean? So like if you feel like you want to do the RPG Maker thing and put that on Steam first, see how that goes, by all means do it. But there's no other reason why you couldn't do the same with Unity at the same time. Might take a little bit longer, especially because you have got the time. It's really up to you, man. Like you just have to.
The only pressures would be pressures I would self-impose, I guess.
Exactly, and that's what we're trying to dispel right now, right? Like you're already talking about self pressures. Like I don't know if I should do an RPG Maker thing to figure that out first, or if I should do Unity. It's harder. It's going to take long. Like these are unnecessary pressures, right? Like they don't need to be there. So my advice would be like have fun with it. You know, just find what you like doing. If you're jamming away in RPG Maker and you're knocking stuff out in 4 weeks, and you're like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to be doing, keep doing that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real need to break out that mold and stress about like Unity or whatever. But it's really up to you.
So I think we usually say next steps, right? I think I might just ponder.
Yeah.
And then next month, hopefully have more of an idea of what I want to do next.
That's a great idea.
That's actually a really good place to be. I always say to people when it comes to this sort of stuff, anything creative anyway, it's not a decision that you can really force too often. It's just something that you need to place the questions in your head and just leave them there for a couple of weeks. And you'll sit there and you'll meander about and you'll and you'll stroke your beard and all that sort of stuff. And then in the middle of the night one day, right, there you go. You just need a staff and a hat. Yeah, like after a while, like you'll wake up in the middle of the night one night, like I know what I want to do. Like I kind of feel like getting used to Unity this week. Or, you know what, I really do just want to make RPG Maker games. It's just like it'll come to you in time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to, as politicians say, give way. And one of you guys are up.
Who's next?
I don't know.
I don't mind.
Chris. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, are you sharing my screen?
Not yet, but I can be if you wish.
So, pretty quick update with me. I've not done much actual production on the game, so that's kind of halted. So I'll move you guys out of the way. You're going to have to be invisible for a minute.
Your stream is currently going blank right now. So stop streaming and then start streaming again. So maybe I'll kick it in.
Okay.
Yeah, likewise, I just have the grey screen with the two loading
Spin it up.
dots.
More. Stop streaming.
No, share your screen, so it's the icon in so the 4 icons at the bottom. It's the second to the left.
4 icons at the bottom. Stop streaming. Share your screen. Share.
Yep.
Is that working?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. So if I
Hey, there we go.
into that. So this is the mid-journey I've been working on.
Cool.
And I've been making some elements for one of the levels. What is the level? So denial.
You're going to explain what your game is first for the people that have never been
Oh,
God,
yeah, sorry. So I'm making Focus Find is a 2D puzzle platformer where you play through the 5 stages of grief, and you play a floating orb floating through space, and you have different puzzles, and there's lots of circles and floating bits, and those are the black circle enemies. And then you go through a portal, and that's basically the game.
Have you added a new particle effect to the black holes, by the way?
To the black ones.
Yeah. I guess it's like the
so
first time I've seen like the details on it. Like,
they're just moving real fast. So the particle effects are actually the same, but when the speed is increased, the particles become a bit more
The smear
visible.
or trail gets longer, does it?
Yeah, so when they go shorter, you can't see as much grey. So that's kind of the difference. So what I've been doing, so that's where I have been up to, like for months ago now. And what I've been working on is some more visual elements. So these are kind of like microbe type electric things. So I was typing in blue electric propeller because I just found a cool propeller. I typed in propeller and it came up nothing like a propeller. Yeah. Propeller blades. It's nothing like a propeller blade. So then I was like, but I kind of like the shape actually. The organic shape is actually pretty funky. And so I had the idea of like blue electric propeller blades, and these are some iterations. And these look kind of like microbes, and I might animate them slightly on on a plane, and I was gonna line them up on like a ribbon. This one looks pretty cool.
Nice.
And
this is a Mid-Journey bot.
So Midjourney is AI image generation. So you type in some prompts like blue power, electric propeller, and then you can just keep going with iterations, and it comes up with these cool things. It uses AI to generate images. And then I just accidentally put ribbon of blue light, not ribbon, and it came up with this amazingly cool artwork.
If any you were right, you're screwed.
Oh yeah, we did a whole podcast on this. Like, it's ridiculous.
Look at that! I could just frame that. It just looks amazing. And then I actually did manage to get some ribbon images. So I was just gonna use these as a reference guide, basically. Probably this one's quite good. If you can see the mouse, the one on the top left.
Yeah.
I was going to lay the microbes out and in different layers, and then so some in the foreground, some in the midground, some in the background. That was going to be my next project. So that's where I've got up to visually. I've got a bit of a dilemma, because up until now, the assets and everything kind of look as good as I'm able to do, which is like this, right? And Midjourney can actually make things look a hell of a lot better. So that's kind of like an image that I manipulated from an ocean image of the sea, and I got it in Photoshop and I blurred it up and made it look all gnarly, and that's as good as I can get with like image manipulation. But with Midjourney, I can make things that look a lot better, a lot quicker. And so now I've got this crisis where I'm like halfway through the game. I've got all these images and stuff. I've already redone stuff like once or twice. I've already redesigned all the levels once. Do I now go back and touch up or swap out the images that I've created for the game so far using Midjourney, because it can be so much quicker, so much more visually interesting, and a lot more eye-catching and appealing, and a lot more artistic than what I can like come up with? I don't know.
So how does Midjourney work in terms of like licensing and stuff? Like, do you own the images that Midjourney creates for commercial use?
You can use it for commercial use, and I think it's up to like £1 million. If you start making £1 million off selling it, then you have to start paying Midjourney or something like that. But yeah, you can use it and make money from it. It's fine, no problem. So yeah, so that was that. And then the other news is kind of good news, is that I've got myself one of these.
That is much smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's really teeny tiny. So yeah, I guess you can stop sharing that thing, because that was everything visually I wanted to share. Yeah. Basically it came. It was ahead of schedule, which is great. Let's listen to a bit now. So this is a synthesizer. It's called the OP1 Field, and it's a synthesizer and a drum machine and a mixer and a 4-track, basically. Cool. Perfect. So that's what I've So I'm going to create, not that sort of music, I'm going to create atmospheric, moody, electronica music.
I was going to say, like, just like going through as you roll. Yeah. We're talking about grief here, guys. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Just really happy, chirpy 8-bit music, like Merit.
It's like a chiptune version of MCR and Not Okay.
Right, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got that. I haven't had a chance to like sit down and learn it, because I know I'm going to need some time with tutorials to like get to grips with it. I've had a few hours worth of play, and yeah, you need to like learn it. So
yes, it's almost like it's an instrument.
It's a whole instrument. It's a whole instrument, and I wanted it because I didn't want to do anything else on the computer. I wanted to be able to take it away, sit down on the sofa, and just like jam on it, and that's what people do. I also want to make some videos with it when I get round to it as well, and I get to a certain standard? Is this the sort of instrument that people that don't play synthesizers or have anything else, can they pick this up as like a beginner and learn things and make things and have it usable? Those are sort of the questions I wanted to answer and make some videos about that, as well as like, can I use it for sound design, and can I use it to like create soundscapes and music for a video game? So like, can indie developers like myself, like solo indie devs or really low number of team of people, like can one of the people buy one of these things and make do, or is it cheaper to hire a game composer? Because this was a lot of money, so I need to start making some money to pay it back somehow. So I thought the videos might help get that, or at least, well, saying that, I put some videos up on YouTube, and those 3 or 4 videos did, I'm not going to say 100 times, but it's like definitely 10 to 20 times better than my indie game videos. So whenever I put videos up about the indie game, Focus Find, they do X amount of views. As soon as I started doing about the synthesizer, it's like one of them's like 2,000 views now. So it's like night and day in terms of the number of views and engagement as well. People are engaged with this, and I've been like, more people have wished me good luck and like, oh, I hope the game goes well off the back of synthesizer videos than they have off the back of indie game solo dev videos.
Is that just because it's like a new product though, or is it like, do you think there's something there that's more long term? I guess is the right question.
I have no idea. No idea. It could be that it's new. Could be that the community's really active. Could be that it's smaller, and so therefore gets more views and is more engaging. I'm not. Yeah, there are a lot of theories as to why that might be. Could just be the algorithm going, this guy's not getting any views in game stuff, we're never going to give him views with game stuff.
I don't think the algorithms feel sorry for you, Chris. Like, that's a bit rough.
Throw him a bone. He's got synthesizers now. Okay, yeah, throw him a bone.
He's paid $2,000 for this thing. We should give him some views. Like, that's
a pretty penny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's less than that, but it's near about that. Yeah.
I mean, it lasts a long time. That's the thing. Like the last OP1 came out like 2011 or something. So it lasted a good decade before it got replaced, and even that is still like a solid thing.
Still being sold.
People are still using that thing. So.
Still getting updates from the company as well. There's an update for that as well. So
built to last.
Nice.
So yeah, they're built to last. They're going to last a long time. So yeah, it was totally an investment, and the money, it holds its money. So if everything goes wrong, I can sell it, and I wouldn't have lost a huge amount. So yeah, that's where I am at the moment. So I just need some time with my work situation. That's in a state of flux at the moment. So I don't know when I'll have some time to sit down or the ability to sit down and play with it. And I don't know whether or not to just go ham with some tracks, like learn the synth, do some tracks, do some videos, or do I do the mid journey, or do I do them both at the same time and like make some visuals for the game, and like, I don't know. I don't know where to focus my efforts.
The mid journey thing is like, it's sort of there to save you time, right? So the time that you save from that is going into the OP1 field, I would assume, right?
That's a good way of looking at it, yeah.
So you're not actually losing time, you're just reallocating it. If that makes sense. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. I could do that.
That's a lot of years.
Yeah. I just need time. Just need time. I need time and effort and energy.
All right, let me pose this question to you then. You need time. Why? What deadline have you got?
Oh, he's doing this again. Second time tonight.
Just got to try and enjoy it, haven't I, Vin?
Yeah, you do, kind of. You know, like this is why we're doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a deadline. That's the thing, right? If you've got like an arbitrary thing in your head, like slightly different from Sam's situation, like you are planning to do this full time. Like this is your passion.
I don't have a. Yeah, I guess it's more frustration that I can't do this full time and I want to. I guess, and like it's so the time away from that is time that I'm not spending towards helping me have this as a career.
So,
I guess.
So you ever trying to sort of get a wrap of the situation and the problem? It sounds like when I sit there during the week and I'm like, I really wish I had some time right now because I'm in the mood to do some game dev right this second, but I've still got like another 4 hours of work, or I need to sort the kids out with something, or I need to cook dinner or whatever. And then I finally get to a weekend or a bank holiday or something like that, and before I know it, the entire day's gone. I've not done a thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. But yeah, I half think it's just a headspace thing. I just think I haven't got the headspace for it at the minute. I've got a lot on my plate, and so it's that's taking a back seat. But I put the game on hold for like 3 months with like mental health stuff, like in 2020, like Christmas time. So because that was a rough time, wasn't it? So yeah, it's fine. I'm not worried. I just need to.
You definitely have to come first. No two ways about that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Yes, mental health comes first. I thought you were going to make a joke then, but you didn't. It's fine.
Come first, right? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment, and unfortunately, that's just what takes time. Like, just me being well takes time sometimes. You just got to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of got two things to do, which is like your mid-journey stuff, which like, are you gonna incorporate a load of art in, which that is like a discussion in and of itself, because there's two ways to do this. Like, you can either like update all the game graphics now, because what's gonna happen, and I'll be blunt about this, what's gonna happen is you go back, do all your mid-journey stuff, update all the graphics in the game all the way through up until the point that you're at. And then you're going to carry on making levels. And then you're going to get towards the end of making those levels, and then you're going to be like, you know what, I really want to update the graphics again. And then you're going to update them all over again. So my advice would be, ignore the mid-journey stuff for now, just make the levels. Just finish the game in standard grey box, like as much as you can. Finish it. And then you can go back and make it all pretty in one fell swoop and just have done with it, sort of thing. That's what I would do. Like, because either way, at the end of the day, we are making games. Like, if the gameplay isn't there, if the gameplay feels awesome and the puzzles are great without all the pretty graphics, then it's only going to get better. You know what I mean?
My first pass of the 4-week RPG Maker game, I had on standby just like this tile set that looks like. Did you guys ever play the VR expansion to Metal Gear Solid?
Yes.
So literally just a colored grid to define like where the walls and floors were.
Yeah.
And things like, the grass that was growing around the edges and stuff, I think that went in like a day before the submission deadline. Right. It's like the little details on the maps and graphics were the last thing.
Yeah. I should probably just focus on getting the game done. Yeah.
But like also, like the good thing about the OP1 field as well is that you don't have to be at a computer to do it, right? Like, you can do that on your sofa. You can relax a little bit. One of the things which I bought last month was I bought a new laptop. The reason why I did that is because I've been so secluded in this room because I've got an office. And I've been on my computer so much, and it annoys the hell out of me to the point that like I can't hang out with my wife and stuff like that. And it's nice to be able to take a laptop and just work on a little bit of code like in the evenings, without like the pressure
in front of the telly,
right, and just relax a little bit and have fun with it. Like, and you can do the same thing with your OP1 field, which is great. So like you can sort of subtract that from your I need to take time to do this thing, because like you'll sort of dip in and out with that almost. Like you'll figure out like times and flows, like where you just want to jam, you want to play around, and like you'll be experimenting with different effects for like a few hours, and then time will fly away from you, and you'll be having a great time with it. Then you'll be able to incorporate that at the desk later on. So like I wouldn't look at it too strictly in that respect, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess I probably have this feeling like I've got too much to do and not enough time, but I think if I thought practically about it, the mid-journey thing saved me time, and the music thing is, that doesn't have to be sit down at the computer time. Yeah,
just make the damn game, Chris. God damn it.
I know.
What was I reading about recently? And like, they found a bunch of placeholder tracks. I think it might have been one of the Doom games, and they just found in the files references to like old Metallica songs and stuff. And that's what they had in there right up until the 11th hour while they were testing it and everything, and they just threw the final compositions in. Someone in the comments will correct me, assuming we get any viewers, and be like, no, that wasn't Doom, you're thinking of something else, but the point stands.
Yeah. I mean, placeholder assets are used throughout production all the time anyway, so it's very common. And then you replace them right near the end, especially with music and sound. Sound is the big one. Like the amount of sound that's probably snuck in from like freesound.org, like into major games. I can't even imagine how many there are. Like there's got to be a lot.
The amount of times where I've been like, that is the PP7 sound from GoldenEye while playing a game. And probably GoldenEye did not make, that was not a bespoke sound for GoldenEye. They got it from a library somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
But yeah, I that's probably my time, right? We're coming up to, doing this up to an hour already, so yeah.
I really don't have that much to show, so it's all good. Over this like sort of last month, I've not really been doing too much, I guess. Like I've done a little bit, but like there's been another project on the side which I'll be able to talk about one day, which is sort of completely consumed me at the moment. So these last sort of 2 months have been quite slow on Long Gone, but still I've got a couple of things.
You've had like real jobs and NDAs and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's the excuse I keep using anyway. So the one of the things which I did, like, can you guys see my screen alright?
Actually, I'm still viewing Chris's, so that's not... That's smart.
Yes.
Alright, cool. So, yeah.
There we go.
Where's I've lost my zombie. Let me find him real quick. Because I definitely forgot to turn him back on. No, still lost him.
Vinny turning on zombies.
I know, sorry about that. They're easy targets, what can I say?
Does that make you a necro?
I don't know, maybe. It wasn't
Probably half, right?
Yeah, in pigs lot, I guess. But yeah, like the first thing which I wanted to show was a quality of life thing, which I was kicking myself about because I wish I did this like ages ago. But like throughout, like I've sort of planned out the majority of like the first section of this game at least, which is the two houses, which I've got this sort of yard in between. And for the longest time, like whenever I want to move my character around and like put them in a different area in the two houses that they've got on this level, I have to manually move my dude around and sort of like settle that up, and it's just a massive pain. I have to turn cutscenes off and all that sort of stuff. So quality of life thing, first thing that I did was I added this drop down menu in my game manager, which is awesome. And I can put him anywhere, in any house, which is awesome. So I just hit play, and then he just spawns there. Look at this. How cool is that?
Look at that. Very cool.
And then, nice. Yeah, I can change that wherever it goes. But
and that's different. That's just changing the starting location on an array, is it? So it's different to like loading a scene where at a different spawn point and stuff.
Yeah. So it's because it's all on the same map as well. Because it's kind of like a byproduct of a kind of lucky thing which I did, which all of these rooms that I've got set up, I've got a box collider, so it's basically so the system can sort of understand if the player is in the room at any one time. So if they're, say, in the backyard of the first house or whatever, right? So, like, if I'm in this sort of container, then all the objects that are outside of that container sort of deactivate and are no longer, like, throwing processes at the system anymore. So it's sort of dynamic.
So you just culled them out.
Exactly. So not only like visually, but I mean like their actual processes as well. So like they're not making calls to like the engine.
The UI or anything.
So the only things that are ever triggering anything to code is the stuff in each container. But like using these containers, I was able to sort of hook this thing up where I can just go to a different spot and sort of set it up wherever they go. Like my test area, I've even got like a thing set up for that, so my dude starts over there as well. Which is, like, I was in this test area for a long time before I moved into the house. But this is, yeah. So I can just move back over there whenever I want. And you can see all, like, the junky background and stuff because he's out of range. But
yeah.
I can walk through doors. Oh, there it is. Can I open that? No, I can't. At least I don't think I can. No.
This is kind of cool because it's kind of given a view as to, like, what the game interiors might look like. So for a lot of people that haven't seen this, it's quite interesting. Like they have good textures of room as well.
Yeah, that was like an old sort of test area which I had, but the lighting's all off on it as well. That's the only thing. But yeah, it will look like that eventually.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So I was able to do that, which is great. I can move this back. I can do it to game start as well, so it actually like triggers like the beginning cutscene of the game. Oh wait, I'm gonna put this into full screen so you can actually see it, see what's actually happening, because it's quite small on yours. Yeah. So this, like, I've set up as well, so it plays like straight from the start and actually plays like the opening cutscene and stuff. Like the frame rate's pretty bad on the stream and stuff, but like you get the idea. This is still like sort of half built anyway, which is just a dude like spawning zombie in the front yard and just being like, oh, okay, he's dead, that's fine. And then this guy shows up, who we all know of. Steals your bag. I still haven't finished the animation of him like destroying the bag and all that sort of stuff. And he's just like trying to plead with them and be like, no, give me my bag back. Zombie's just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna eat it. So like he destroys it and then just there and he's like, oh crap. There's also like another bit of the cutscene that sort of plays out and like story moments happen, but then it goes straight to gameplay like this, which is awesome.
Okay.
I've got it now. Like the bag isn't obviously on his back. I can still get eaten by the guy. It's like, yeah, thanks.
Without your bag on your back, that's good.
Yeah, I'll change that as well. Zombie has got a bag, and I just haven't triggered it at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I can go through some of the puzzle, I guess. So I figured like it'll be a good idea, like for you guys to sort of talk through it. Like, what would you do, like right now?
I'd search for loot.
Be more specific.
I wouldn't try the door because it looks boarded, but I'd search in the grass. I'd search the zombie, see if there's anything on the zombie.
Okay.
Pistol. So you got a pistol. Bullet. Yeah, get the bullet.
Well, the bullets are rusted, like they can't be used.
Well, how do I know that, Vin?
Well, it says rusted next to them. But
okay, fine.
For argument's sake.
Okay, I'll know that.
I've never used a real firearm. I don't know what happens if I put a rusty bullet in a rusty gun.
Potato peeler. Oh, I'd take that bad boy. Yeah, I could shank him. Can you shank the zombie?
Can I use the potato peeler to remove the rust from the bullet?
No, quite. Unfortunately, I haven't figured that out yet. But no, you can't. There's a point. Sorry.
Can you modify the pistol to have a potato peeler attachment?
No, like a
bayonet.
Just like stab the zombie. That would be a good animation. No, but you can't. Like, I will have an animation for this. Like, but you will be able to use a potato peeler on the zombie at some point.
Use the potato peeler to cut the rope on the flag.
Okay, we can try that. Hey, someone's
Hey.
Yeah. So now I've got.
And then
the prize is paying attention to Vinny talking to us previously.
True.
And then can you use the rope on the door?
No. You just shrugged.
He just shrugged. No. Can you use it on the zombie then?
Tie a zombie.
We can try, but we can get something else from him.
Yay.
Yay.
Zombie bite face.
Bite face is back, so we can take that, which is great. So I'm like, yeah, got my bag now. And he's actually wearing it now as well, which is good. So that all works. Like, that kind of failed last time, and I wasn't able to do that. But also in the bag there is an item which has not got an icon yet. It will at some point. And there's also a bullet as well.
If I had a hammer.
I like, what was the thing with the handyman? What was the words on that? Makes you wonder if he was a handyman.
Oh, yeah.
Survivor that stole it from some other poor sap. Haha.
Wait a minute.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and like add all of that sort of flavor text.
A little bit of Mitchell and Webb at the end there.
There you go. Yeah, good reference. Catch that. But yeah, then you can. I mean, you've seen this animation before, which is the pistol trying to be used and stuff. But now that I've got like most of the sort of scene set up now, like the puzzle can basically be played from start to finish, and you're able to get into the house now, which is awesome. I just need to prettify everything at this point. So yeah, so nice. Gun failed and stuff, and shouldn't be in the bag anymore. Yeah, so the bullet gun is gone. I do have this hammer, which again I'm gonna eventually make an animation of him attempting to kill zombies. Same thing with the potato peeler. Like, I want a little failed states in this game as well to show animations of you failing. There are going to be two of them. But
now you can ride a doorboard stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I've got an animation for that now as well.
Nice.
Oh, very cool.
Hey, you completely downplayed your amount of progress before we started recording. You've made much more progress than you said you had.
No. All of this is like previously done. It's just like I've started connecting them all up now. That's all. Like it's
Okay.
I really haven't done that much, I promise. But yeah, so like the main aspect, I can also switch between different things that are sort of in view, quote unquote. So if there's anything that's like near here, then I can just switch between them. So this wooden board on the floor, I'm able to pick that up. And that's the thing, like, spoiler alert, there's going to be wooden shelves that we can use on Zombie Guy. I mean, do you guys want to see this?
Yeah.
Alright. It's janky as hell, and it's going to change, but here it goes.
Oh. That's brilliant.
Way to up.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great. That needs to go on TikTok. Rad waving.
Yeah. I want to do it so he actually, like, instead of like just pulls it out, he's gonna like push it on the board away, so then like the spike goes to the ground, like springs in the floor, and he's just going to fall and trying to like grab him still from the floor, but he's gonna be pinned obviously.
Oh, great.
Oh, so the zombie's going to have his own headstone.
Exactly, forever, and it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, that's the next step. I want to make it so he falls over and like the boards in the floor like vibrate, and then like you can still see the zombie's arms like just behind the fence. Like I'm really excited to do that one. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
That's going to be pretty funny. I love
Yeah,
it.
but then-
You can still post that progress as a sneaky peek.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing right now, right? But
Yeah.
the next step would be going into the mailbox to be able to get the key to actually open the door, and then you're actually just inside the house. So that's the entire sort of puzzle of the game. Not the game, but like just this one section.
The intro.
So,
Yeah.
Open the front door, credits.
right. I mean,
Just
like,
like,
this is
live here now, squatters' rights.
this is basically the demo that I want to sort of complete, but obviously like there's still a lot of visual stuff to do. But now that the puzzle is out of the way, it's pretty much done. I can just focus on making stuff look good, which I'm actually really excited about.
Yeah.
Like get rid of the cube cars in the background, and like being able to make nice inspector modes and stuff. Like I just redid the grass recently because that needed a new texture update, which like that broke my entire game when I switched my game over to the Mac, which was an entire headache. Like that took like a good few days to sort of fix in and of itself. But just like adding floor, like sort of boards to the side of the house and things like that, and vines, like ferns, things like that. Just there's so much like little detail-y stuff that I want to add. Also like story beat moments as well. Like I want to put a newspaper that's like wrapped in plastic, which is like from like when the outbreak happened and stuff. Like so you can get some context from what happened. I want to put a note on the dead zombie, like in the he's not really a zombie, but the corpse in the
corpse.
garden. Like I want to put a note on him at some point to sort of give some context to him. So many little things like that I still want to add to it, but that's now that the main puzzle's out of the way. Like that was the biggest headache for me to sort of figure that out. So now that I've done that, I can sort of progress on and make the rest of the demo, which I'm really excited about because I kind of want to give this impression, like I was saying before, of if that is what you do for just the where is this? Yeah, if that's what you do for just the front garden of the first house, then you can sort of get an idea of like how much other stuff there's going to be in the game.
Yeah.
So you get a good sense of like the density of what I want to be able to put in the game. Like I don't want to do like massive sprawling areas. Like I might do like an extra additional couple of houses, depending on what I do for like funding wise and stuff. But like it might turn into a whole neighborhood, but like the neighborhood itself is just going to be super dense and compact like this. Like I really want every room to feel like it's a lot to do in that one room. I don't want to like everything to just be set dressing. I obviously do want set dressing as well, but I don't want that to be the main focus. I want you to be able to like every room that you walk in, you see all the items spread out all over the room. You're just like, okay, time to look through some stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to sort of elicit from players anyway. But I mean, we'll see. Like it's making progress, so it's doing awesome.
Nice.
That's pretty much it for me, though. Like other than the fact that TikTok exploded, that was about it. That was the only other thing that really happened. And that was nuts. I got 2 million views on one of my videos. Still not to like quite process that, but there it is.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, but it is TikTok.
Here's the thing, though. It exploded on Twitter, then it exploded on TikTok. The consistent thing here is that the game is appealing to people, and it is shareable, and it is, excuse the pun for a zombie game, but viral.
It literally is. Like, that TikTok use. Yeah, that TikTok uses certain definitions for what they determine as viral, and yep, it's viral. It got to like over 1 million within 7 days.
Yeah, but it's now not a one-off. You've done it twice on 2 platforms.
Yeah, but it makes me nervous because now is it just because the thing that I'm constantly thinking about more than anything, it's like, yeah, I fully appreciate like everyone that's like gotten into it. I'm really like the look of the game. Like the 30,000 followers which I acquired on TikTok is sort of insane. Like I'm not going to downplay that at all. Like that's awesome and stuff, but like the thing that I'm consciously thinking about is the fact that like while the visual side of stuff is like appealing to people, like I'm like now that because I'm doing so many experimental things with the gameplay wise, and like how am I going to be able to hook people in with just like searching through items, for example. It's stuff like that which I'm starting to be a bit like I'm thinking about that more and more now, and that's the thing that I'm conscious about, because I can make stuff look pretty all day. Like that's my day job, right? Like if I can't do that, then I'm sort of terrible at what I do, which is like that's one thing. But the game design side is what I'm sort of trying to prove myself in, and that's the thing that is constantly not a worry or a concern, but that's the thing that's like in the back of my head, like, hey, you know, this game might be really boring, but you know,
it's not been proven yet, right?
Yeah,
so you've got a lot of eyes on something that hasn't been proven yet. Yeah.
Right, and that's been proven in the fact that people keep making assumptions about what the game is and isn't, sort of thing. Like I can probably count on one hand how many people have absolutely nailed exactly what I'm going for. Like there's been a couple of people like, oh, sweet, it looks like Broken Sword, or it reminds me of Monkey Island. It's like, that is what I'm going for right there. That's what I want, right there. But then you get all these other people that are just like, oh, sweet, a survival horror game. I'm like, no, that's no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss. Try again.
Or like The Last of Us pixelated.
Yeah, like it's a survival game. Like you have to like find food and stuff to like keep up your health meter and stuff. It's like, no, that is not what this game is at all. Like there's gonna be no eating food. There's gonna be no scavenging. There's gonna be no like cold meter or hot meter or anything like that. You don't have to find shelter. It's not that game. It's very story driven. It's very much about the items that you're sort of sifting through. Hence the name Long Gone. It's about the people that aren't there anymore. It's not really about you, almost. Like I've just put a character in the game to sort of be able to move around that. That's it.
Yeah.
Like they do have their own story, which you will see, but for the most part, it's about the environment. It's about the characters that used to be there. It's about their lives, not really you trying to like find food before nightfall and zombies. Like you have to find bullets. Like it's not that sort of game.
I have a feeling that if you get your test area where you've got some textures on, pretty them up, put some pictures on a wall and a sofa and stuff, and have him just rummaging through a drawer, I reckon people are gonna enjoy that as well.
Yeah, that's what I hope, and that's why I kind of like I want to take this front garden scene that I've got. Like once I've sort of prettified that, I want to put that out as a demo, like on my Steam page and stuff as well. I'll be like, okay, this is the game, this is what it's going to be. Because like another thing which I'm really getting conscious about as well, another thing which is awesome, but it makes me nervous, which is the wish list. I've flung through.
How many have you got?
I'm almost at 7,000 now. Yeah.
7,000.
It exploded. Like, and that, like, at first it was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then at the same time, this nag started coming into me. I was like, but nobody really knows what the game is. Like, how many of these people are going to actually buy the game? So now I'm really sort of, I'm not nervous about it, but like, I really just want to get a demo out so people know exactly what the game is. And then if I start getting wish lists off that, then I'll be confident about it.
Be like, okay, it's good.
Like, yeah, people know what it is. People are excited about how it looks, how it plays.
Yeah,
now
I get it. You're worried, like, 7,000 people think I'm making a survival horror game.
Right. That's the concern.
Okay.
That's what I need to sort of not just prove to them, but prove to myself as well that I'm actually able to deliver.
If you can make a good game. Yeah. That's a Yeah, that is a problem. I get it. Yeah, it's a lovely problem to have, but yeah.
Oh, no, like I said, I don't scoff at that whatsoever. Like, I'm really happy that people are sort of connected with it, because I've made like a bunch of indie games in the past that bombed, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time that like something like this has happened, which is good. But it's at the same time, like I'm treading cautiously. I have had indie games that have done really well in open access. Like 20,000 people play them in open access, and then they release and it tanks. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I've been on this road before, and it's something that I'm trying to sort of keep level-headed about more than I can. It's a little bit different this time because I am making this thing by myself. It's a little bit different because people are more interested in the narrative and the actual sort of like the way that the game looks and stuff. And it's completely in my control. So it's a very different beast, and I know I've got to treat it differently, but at the same time I'm just cautiously optimistic, if that makes sense. But it's all good though. Like it's not.
It's just so when expectations start bubbling, you start worrying, can I deliver on those expectations?
Exactly. Sure. Yeah. You're going through like because you're like the dev and you're the marketing person as well. So you've got like all of those concerns that the games designers have that the marketing team don't see, but you're also the marketing department, so you've got all those concerns that the dev team don't see, and so you've got all those compounded. Are they gonna know what it is? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So it's a weird thing to juggle, but I mean that's part of the thing, right? I'm sort of transitioning into this next sort of phase of what the game is, like now I have to deliver on the messaging of the game. Like that's the thing which I've not been completely successful on so far. It's been able to show people what the game is. Like people have seen it and they've been like, oh, that looks great, that looks interesting, but
they feel great.
Exactly. What happens when I put that controller in someone's hands and they're actually holding that controller and they're trying to figure out this puzzle? Is it going to be fun? Is it going to be boring? Is it just going to be it's pretty, but I don't really get it. You know, that's where I'm at now. So
hopefully the journalists can help with that when there's a demo available. Hopefully the journalists can sort of clean that up, that narrative that you're trying to communicate.
Yeah, I hope so. But I mean, we'll see. Like either way, I'm gonna make the game. Like I'm enjoying making it. That's the main thing.
It's coming out one way or another.
Yeah. It will come out. Like if they like it or not, sort of thing. Like even if it gets 3 out of 10, like I don't care. Like I finished the game by myself. I don't care. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's this weird thing. It happened with the comics where I had a couple of critics, really liked my indie stuff. There were some critics who fucking hated it, and there were some people who made some nasty comments at some shows and such, and my wife readied me up with the best response ever. It's like, oh yeah, that's really interesting. What's your comic about?
Yeah.
And sort of like, at least I fucking made one, bitch.
I mean, I've been tackling with that all my life, I work at a major studio as it is, and it's just we get hammered by criticism each and every day. Like I work at Ubisoft, so it's like people aren't so shy about dishing out criticism.
Oh, you're the new Activision. Yeah,
exactly. So like that being the case, like we're constantly going through that thought of, well, I mean, they're giving criticism about video games. Like a lot of them are like 15-year-olds that haven't really matured yet, like, and they're making criticism on things that they have no idea how difficult these things are and stuff like that. But at the same time, we're like asking for money from these people, and it's just like there's so many like weird things around that. But at the end of the day, you are right, Sam, and so is Joe in that respect, which is the fact that they haven't made a game. Like they have no idea like how difficult this thing is. Like it's not like I wish it really was just like Mid-Journey, where you can just type in a zombie game, pixel art, hit return, and then it just spits it out for you. That'd be nice when we get to there, but we're not there yet, unfortunately. But I do have to keep that in mind. But at the same time, I'm just trying to make something which I would enjoy making. I think I would enjoy playing. Sorry, that's
your audience is you.
Yeah, because like I constantly think back, like the original inspiration for this game was like The Last of Us, not in terms of like its gameplay or anything like that, but just one tiny section in The Last of Us, which triggered this whole idea for the game, which was the part where you go into that neighborhood. And I got super excited the first time I played that game in 2013. And I was like, man, I can't wait to scrape through every single one of these houses and find out about all this information about all the people that used to live there. Desolate. Nothing. And it's like, the ball was right there, like on the tee. All you had to do was hit it off, and like you would have, home run right there. But they just completely missed that opportunity.
Home Ron, you don't watch a lot of sports, do you?
I really don't.
No.
I mean, like, you know, the kids' baseball things where they put them on sticks and, like, they put a ball on top, it's on a T-ball, and, like, they hit it off. That's how they practice, like, hitting a ball. Like, that's basically... Yeah, well, I get whatever. Anyway.
That thing where a ball's on a tether, what's that called again?
Tether. No, there's actually a thing in America called T-ball. So, like, they literally put baseballs on a stick for kids to practice hitting a ball off it, to get used to hitting a ball. And that's basically what someone did for Naughty Dog. It was just like, okay, here's the T-ball, set it up, here's the bat, all you gotta do is hit it off, and they just completely missed it. That's that whole section of that game was just like that disappointment stayed with me. It was just like, they had so much opportunity, and that evolved with, like, bringing in that Broken Sword, Monkey Island sort of humour with it, making it very British in that sense, very dry humour. All of that, it just combined and became something else completely. But, like, the original spark was that thing, and just hopefully, like, people will connect with that eventually. So yeah, it remains
to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make the damn game, Vin. I need that on my wall. Like, I swear, just make the damn game, Vin.
Just make the damn game.
Just make the damn game.
When you're able to, don't just enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I am enjoying it. That's the main thing. When I can get to it, like, I'm super busy right now, but I'm really, like, the next step is, like, sort of wrap this thing up though, is to aim towards that demo. Like, that's the next sort of couple of months for me, I think. And just polishing, making stuff look good. Like, hopefully by...
We talked a few months ago, and you said you gave yourself sort of a soft deadline of October.
I think
our next episode will be October's.
Yeah, I think that's going to shift, unfortunately.
Yeah, because we had a couple of months, didn't we?
I genuinely believe it's probably going to be more like January now. But that's because of outside factors, which we'll go into one day. But for now, like, it's kind of...
Oh, yeah, when we can talk about some stuff we've been doing, that's going to be cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And don't worry, anyone who's listening to this, I am just as out of the loop on whatever that is.
We'll tell you after. Just so you know.
Oh, I get to find out off air.
Indeed. Haha, you don't. Anyway, yeah, speaking of getting off air, we should get out of here. It's been going on for far too long. Everyone, thanks very much for joining in. If you did,
I don't think I can find you. That's...
Yes.
Yeah.
In the meantime.
Indeed. Who, me?
Yeah, where can people find you in the meantime?
Okay, you can find me at Hillfort Games. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Like, but you can find my game Long Gone on Steam, wishlist there if you want. If you know what the game is now, I guess. Like, you might enjoy it, like, compared to, like, the other people that have wishlisted it. But yeah, Hillfort Games, so if you just search that around, then you'll be able to find me. Where can people find you, Sam?
I have recently split my Twitter into 3 accounts. So I now have at Webster's YouTube for reviewing other people's games, at Webster's Art, because apparently I think I can draw, and at Webster's Game Dev, which is where you'll see stuff for game dev.
I'm going to follow it right now. Sweet. What about you, Chris?
So for me, it's at Acrylic Pixel for Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. You can wishlist Focus Find on Steam as well if you wanted to, and Patreon has been suspended until I can get some more content back up and running.
That's fair.
But you can still subscribe if you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for listening, or thank you for watching, because it's not going to go on our audio podcast. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We do a regular video game kind of news reviewy show once a week usually. We've been a bit quiet, and then we do the solo round table once a month. Again, we've been a bit quiet, so hopefully we'll gonna get back into the swing of things soon.
I like the word hopefully though. Like, it was half genuine, but, like, I almost believed it.
I'd like
take
to
1 month off during a time when everyone was busy and taking holidays with their families and this, that, the other, and suddenly we're on hopefully.
It was 2, wasn't it? It was 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks.
But
yeah, we'll get back.
We effectively skipped a month, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, okay, but yeah, until the next time then.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was a very camp double wave.
Are we though? Are we?